In half of a mile, left turn onto West Slauson Avenue.
Give y'all a minute to get up in here. Y'all please hit that like button when you come up in here. You know, get that algorithm cracking. How y'all doing this morning? What's good? What's good, Freedom Marchers?
Left turn ahead.
Good morning, good afternoon. Good evening, wherever you're at in the world. It's Tyrants Bane, and this is the definition of anarchy. It is, what is it, the 27th?
Proceed about
October 27, 2021.
I-110 South.
October 27, 2021. And it's a Wednesday. I just wanted to talk about something a little different. I'm going to relate a personal story to y'all. And just, you know, this story I'm about to tell is representative of what's going on in the world today and just how weak a lot of these men are. You know, back when I was growing up in the 80s, you know, men were putting their hands on women, but, you know, it's like there was a lot more. There was a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. But in the 80s and 90s, hell, and even the early 2000s, you know, if men knew that other men were putting their hands on them, on a woman, they would handle it, right? They would handle it. And, you know, it was something that I was taught that you never do. You never put your hands on a woman, no matter what, right? And women did not accept that back in those days. Like, I tell y'all that my mother was getting abused by my father, and she got rid of his ass. You know, she put him out. And, you know, it's something that you just, I don't know, man. But, and then you hear stories about way back in the day, like in the early 1900s and all that shit. You know, men, especially black men in black households, they were not very abusive. You know what I'm saying? But in some degrees they were, but they would be handled, right? They would be handled. And nowadays, it's like there are less and less men that actually believe in that philosophy. Like you just don't put your hands on women. Why not? Right? Why not? Because for one, it's very simple. You're physically much stronger, physically superior to a woman, and the damage you can cause to a female with just one punch can be devastating. You can kill a woman with a punch. Especially somebody like me. Like, unless she's like hella trained and all that other shit, I could seriously hurt a woman with a single punch. And that's not the only reason, right? It's not the only reason. Women, in my mind, especially if it's your girlfriend or your wife or your significant other, somebody you have a relationship with, You know, they should be cherished. Women should be cherished, point blank and period. And nowadays you have this whole thing where if you treat a woman with respect and, you know, you treat them right and you respect them and, you know, you court them in a certain way, then you're a simp, right? You're a simp. And I mean, you could be just simply married, or you could, you know, want to protect a woman from men, you know what I'm saying, coming at them, and they call you a simp. You're a simp. You caping and all this other shit. But I think those type of men that think that hate women. They hate women, and there are a lot more of those type of men nowadays than there were back when I was growing up. Yep. There may have been the same level of physical abuse or a little bit less back in my day. But now it's like if you're arguing with a woman, right? If you're arguing with a woman and she like mushes you in the head or, you know, slaps you or something like that in the chest or something like that, or pushes you, and you haul off and give her a right hook to the jaw and knock her out, it's like these clowns are like, oh, well, you shouldn't have put your hands on them, oh, you provoked them and all this shit. And even you got women doing the same shit. I'm very confused by that, because you did not meet her energy with equal energy. You went way overboard, right? My first wife, she put her hands on me, and I was able to restrain her without even striking her, right? I was able to restrain her, use my physical superior force, and restrain her from doing more damage to me. You know, even though she called the police on me, and ended up going to jail herself because there was evidence that she struck me and not that I struck her. And trust me, if I hit her, there would be evidence. That's just the bottom line to it. But I was able to restrain myself, and that was something that was respected, right? It wasn't like, oh, you should have elbowed her in the tooth. Oh, you should have swept her and stomped her face in. Like, I don't know what the world, what kind of men the world is producing nowadays. But these are the same type of men that don't want to change a tire. They don't want to put their hands on nothing. They don't want to do any physical work. They have no mechanical skills, right? They don't know how to fight. And that brings me to a current personal story that I'm going through. Now, like, I don't know what's up with these men. There's like more and more of them are acting like clown shoes. One of my wife's friends had issues with her boyfriend, her boyfriend. They got 2 kids together. She went out one night. Now, mind you, this dude goes out every weekend without his wife, without his girlfriend. He goes out every weekend like he's single. He got caught being on a dating website.
15 miles ahead on the route.
His wife, his girlfriend caught him on a dating website. He got caught red-handed.
Slow traffic.
You know, hell, his ass cheated before. He cheated. He fucked around on her. But she goes out, right? She goes out one night and comes home. I guess she was drunk. And like out of nowhere, she gets in bed and he rolls over and just punches her in the face and goes back to sleep like it was nothing. I'm like, what? My wife told me, I was like, are you serious?
Continue
now,
I-110.
My first instinct
I-4
was to go over there
is on the right.
and mud stomp his ass, right? That was my first instinct. Because I know where they live. And I told my wife, I was like, okay, I'm going to go beat his ass. That was just, it was automatic. She's like, no, you can't do that. She don't even know that I know. So I'm like, but, okay, so tell her that you told me then. And then she's like, no, you can't do that. You get in trouble, blah, blah, blah. I don't want her to be mad at me and all this other shit. And I'm like, I know you're trying to protect her feelings or whatever, but at the end of the day, you're protecting him after he done smashed her face in with his bitch ass fist. Now, if you look at this dude, he is
on the right, and then
he's small, right? He's short, but she's short too. She's like 5'1" or 5'2" or something like that. He's like 5, 6, 7 or something like that. He's small, you know what I'm saying? And like he has no, his physical stature is like non-existent.
Keep left.
And like he just looks weak, you know. And I don't underestimate people, but you know, I shook his hand before. It's kind of weak ass handshake. Not that you should gauge too much on that, because even when I shake hands, I don't try to crush a motherfucking hand. You know, I give them a firm grip and all that shit. But he doesn't even do that. It's like a limp, wet paper towel. You know what I'm saying? That's what shaking his hand is like. I know that if a real man stepped up to fight him, he'd get his ass whooped. But again, you don't want to underestimate people. But I was willing to go over there and handle him. And I'm like, these are, the more I hear about dudes putting their hands on women, these are the type of dudes that are doing that. He don't exercise, he don't work out, he don't train, you know what I'm saying? He works in an office. He's just, he's just a soft dude. Of course, you know, he feels comfortable putting his hands on his girlfriend because he has to take his frustrations out on somebody. And then another time, and this is like recent, like a few weeks, like a couple months ago, he basically put a combo on her and choked her out. This is my wife's homegirl. And I'm like, man, I say, y'all just give me the word, man. And that's another thing that has changed. Back in the day, if that happened, all the women be like, "Oh, can you come beat his ass? Come get him." Like, it would be no hesitation. I don't understand the hesitation now, but I'm basically being restrained from doing anything because I have no idea why. I don't know why these women want to protect this dude. Like, he's also, this chick is also my sister's friend. So it's like, at some point, and this is the thing, you can't really do anything until they're ready to leave the person that's abusing them. So, and obviously she's not ready because she's still with his ass. So if you go over there and beat his ass and she goes back to him, then you just feel like you just wasted a good ass whooping. But I just hope one day he doesn't hurt her to the point where it's just like he does irreversible damage. You know what I'm saying? Put her in the hospital or worse. But so that's just a little side story. This main story is what happened was my homegirl. Now this chick I've known for a long time, like maybe 20 years or something like that. 23, 25 years, something like that. And she's really like my brother's homegirl. They real tight. They're like brother and sister. She's like my sister too, but she was messing with this dude that, again, he's one of them, you know, soft dudes, like real soft, like body wise, and like real reserved, quiet.
I-405 South.
And they were together for a little bit, maybe over a year, maybe a year and a half. Well, recently, a couple months ago, they get into it. He like breaks into her apartment. Now let me tell you something about her, man. She ain't no joke, right? She did 5 years for trafficking, for drug trafficking, and she's used to messing with gangsters, like gang members, like hardcore gangsters, OGs. That's who she fuck with. You know what I'm saying? She's kind of like these are older dudes that she's used to fucking with, that are like OGs, and they're like sugar daddies, basically. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? And one of the dudes she was messing with got her caught up. She was trying to smuggle some cocaine at the airport, and she got caught and they had to do 5 years. But anyway, so she's hardcore. She ain't no joke. Now, she has some quote-unquote illegal firearms in her house. Just so y'all know, just for reference, future reference in the story. So he busts in the door and punches her in the mouth, right? So she tells my brother, bust her lip all up. Weak ass dudes, man. So she tells my brother, my brother's old school like me. He was ready to go over there and mollywop him. And, you know, my brother got squabbles, you know what I'm saying? Like, but, you know, I guess
6 miles.
He called him. My brother called the dude.
Stop and go traffic.
And he was like, "Hey man, I'm about to come see you, dude. Like, why you put your hands on my sister like that? Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying?" And dude told him. He said, "I don't fight. I shoot or whatever." Right? And then he said, "Cause my brother got 2 strikes. My brother's been to prison. He has 2 strikes." And so this dude, this punk, is like, wait, no, this happened after. This happened after the second incident. So the first incident, my brother calls him, and he's like, I'm not gonna fight you, but I'll shoot you, right? On some punk shit. You can fight a woman, but you don't want to fight a man. You rather shoot a man, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, you'll hit a woman, but you won't fight a man. You know what I'm saying? So he threatens him. He threatens to shoot him. I'm like, man. And my brother's like, man, he's like, he don't know what to do because this dude's a square, man. He's a square. But anyway, threatened to shoot my brother. And then I look on Facebook in the stories, and she's sitting with this dude at the bar having drinks. I'm like, what the fuck? This nigga, he just busted your lip, and you sitting at the bar with this dude? Shit's wild. So anyway, I think the problem was, what started this whole thing is that, you know, they're kind of dating. They even she got pregnant and they lost the baby. But she started messing around with this other dude, this blood from Black Pea Stone, I think, somewhere. This blood, whatever he is. I don't know what set he's from. But I guess dude found out, and that's when he busted her lip. And then the dude was like, man, you can have her, man. I'm done. Like, I don't, you know, I'm gonna back out, all this other shit. But the dude is crazy. The dude is weak and soft. Anyway, now mind you, this dude is like in his late 20s, early 30s or something like that. So he's in that generation. He's in that generation. So excuse me.
Next exit,
So she's sitting at the bar with this nigga having drinks. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now you posted them on Facebook now. Okay, I say this shit is crazy, man. Imagine if me or my brother did go beat his ass. Now she's sitting at the bar with him having drinks. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with these chicks, man? 1 week later,
and then
there's another incident. They get to fighting. She fights back. He beats her. He beats her up. You know what I'm saying? Just beats her up.
In 1/10 of a
But what does this nigga do? He calls the police. Calls the police and says she's a felon, right? She hit me and all this other shit. Now, mind you, he broke into her house again.
That's right.
Then called the police. This bitch boy called the police on her after the shit it's already over. You left the house. He calls the police on her and tells the police that she has 3 guns in her apartment. And then so they bring him to show he can show the police where the guns are. And he shows them exactly where the guns are. And she's a fucking felon, right? She's a felon. Now she's off parole. She had just got off parole 2 or 3 years ago. So she, thank God for that, because her ass would have been no bail, whatever. Like, so she's off parole, thankfully. And remember I told you guys months ago about how, how they treat people who own firearms illegally versus those who own firearms legally? Well, guess what? They took the firearm from her, but they didn't charge her with the guns. They're trying to charge her with the domestic violence. They're not even charging her for the guns. What did I tell y'all? If you own firearms illegally, they don't give a shit. They'll drop those charges because guess what? They have to fight that shit in court. When you go to court, listen, that's just a digression, man. I'm just letting y'all know that you get treated better if you own firearms illegally versus if you own the firearm illegally and they feel like you're doing illegal shit with it, right? Like if I had my firearm that I lost in a boat accident. If I had a firearm sitting on the chair next to me, and I got pulled over and the cops saw it, I'd be in a lot more trouble, even though it's my firearm, I own it legally.
In half of a
but
mile,
because I had it in a place that we're not supposed to have it, right? Oh well, yeah, now I get in a lot of trouble and I get fines and all this other shit, and they take my shit. Anyway, they're not even charging her with the fucking firearms. They just took the shit. And let me tell y'all what they're doing with them firearms, man. They're putting them back out on the street. They're selling them. These cops, they'll take seized firearms, right, and they'll keep some of them as throwaways, and they'll put the others right on the street. Because now, if you're not charging them with the guns, there's no evidence of it. Anyway, I digress. So, his bitch ass calls the police on her, tells her about the guns, and my brother hits him up. Like, my brother's a hothead. Y'all think I'm a hothead. My brother is a hotter head. You know what I'm saying? He's a hotter. Listen, so he called old boy. And he tells my brother, you already got 2 strikes. You want to get a third? Threatens him with a 3rd strike so that he can go to jail for life. So my brother backs off. And that's when I told my brother, I said, tell him to keep fucking around. I ain't got no felonies. And I'm a crack shot. Because, you know, since he likes to threaten people with guns, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no felonies. And I'm a good shot. Tell him to keep fucking around. I'm his Huckleberry. Anyway. So, there's that. Now, she got out on bail. I think it was $1,250 or $12,000, $12,500, some shit like that. She gets out on bail. My brother bails her out. Now, oh boy. So, what my homegirl does at that point, she goes, right, because he actually hit her and beat on her. He just happened to call the police. So she's trying to make sure that she does something about it so that there's a fight in court, that she's not just going down for domestic violence, that it tries to turn it around on him because he's the one who initiated it, right? Excuse me. So she goes and files a restraining order against him. Now, what she should have did, and I don't agree, I don't like the police, but hindsight being 2020, she should have called the police on this bitch ass the first time he hit her. But anyway, she's not the type to call the police like that. She's a rider. But she goes to file a restraining order on him. But you have to serve the person you have the filing the restraining order against, so they're aware. And then I guess there's a summons as well. So, but she can't do it herself. She can't file the restraining order herself. She can't serve him. So what does she do? And now this was stupid on her part. She gets my niece, my brother's daughter, who happens to be staying with us right now. She takes my niece to serve him the papers. This happened yesterday, and this is why I had to get off the live stream, because my wife was calling me back to back to back, and it never, usually when she FaceTimes me, it interrupts the live stream, but I guess she was FaceTiming me 3 or 4 times, and I saw messages come through from my niece, but like I said, I'm driving, I'm not, I can't read the message, and I'm not seeing the FaceTime come through. So she goes to serve him the papers, right? Which was, listen, this was stupid. If y'all in a situation like that, do not get a woman to serve an idiot male, an idiot punk, a weak ass punk, some papers. So she goes to serve him papers, and he answers the door and pulls a gun on her. Yeah, that's right. Pulls a gun on her and says, "You better get out of here." So she could not serve the papers because this nigga's pulling guns on her. I'm heated. Who produced these weak ass men? Who produced them? Where they do that at? Pulls a gun on my niece. Now my niece, sweet kid. You know what I mean? She's a sweet kid. She's little. Like, my niece is little. She's 20. I'm gonna say she'll be 23 in a couple weeks. But she's little. Like, she's a little skinny little twig of a girl. And he feels the need to pull a gun on her. What kind of threat can you perceive a 22-year-old waif of a girl to be? To where you had to pull a gun out on her? Where are they producing these weak ass men? Is it something in the water? Y'all let me know. Like, what am I missing here? Like, is this new? Like, I don't remember shit like this going down. It probably did, but on this scale, like, I'm talking multiple women around me with weak ass dudes that won't hesitate to put their hands on them and call the police on them. Like, where are they doing this at? Let's see what y'all talking about. Reckless Podcast was good, man. See safe and careful out there, bro. That's what's up. Marsha T was good. Everyone is selfish. The Habakkuk says, I've seen women still go out with men when the same guy beat up her parents and disrespect her parents. It's crazy. Men are humans, so there is bound to be weak and strong. Yeah. But I feel like the scale is tipping toward weak ass men. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. You know, you got child molesters running around like Mighty Mouse. You got, just look at how many people support Mighty Mouse. You don't think a motherfucker like Mighty Mouse would put his hands on a woman? If they can do that to a child, if he can do that to a child, you don't think he could do that to a woman? And then you got all the people that support Mighty Mouse, knowing what he did, excusing his behavior, talking about rehabilitation. Deep down in their minds, they know child molesters can't be rehabilitated. So it's not just about men hitting on women. It's about men supporting child molesters. It's about men excusing the behavior of men who put their hands on women. It's about the men that don't step up to do something about it. That you know, that it's like, I don't know that it used to be that unbalanced back in the day. It's like, and then you got the menosphere. These dudes out here that hate women, like the clown shoe Lucas. He hates women. There's more of that going on. Black Spring with Autumn was good. Black Spring with Autumn says Similac. Yeah, that's what they need. They damn sure need some Similac. The Habakkuk says, did you hear about the court case concerning a child predator? The court allowed the same predator to have full custody of the child he abused. Get the fuck out of here. See, that's another thing. That's what emboldens these bitch ass clowns, is they get away with it, right? You molest a child, the court gives you 6 months probation. The judge gives you 6 months probation, or you might get 3 years, depending on how badly you abuse that child. But there's no real consequences. Or you can beat the shit out of a woman, call the police on them, and the police will arrest the woman. Reject modernity and get back traditions. I agree. These are the type of men that we're going to be up against when the shit hits the fan. They're the ones who are going to try to rise up in factions and becomes many tyrants. These are the type of cats that put on badges and go around, you know, terrorizing and harassing people. You know, these are the type of people that call themselves representatives and all this other shit. Like, listen, man, we got to get our shit together. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could just go and just take care of these dudes. Like, but it's out of my hands now, especially with my homegirl who got the police called on her. You know, that's a hot situation. Jimmy Nunez says, traditions men, stronger men. Traditions was meant when was to be a protector of women and children. Yeah. Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to the men that feel compelled to protect women and children? So many men are concerned about being called simps that they just become weak. They're weak. You know? Oh, because I want to protect women, because I want to cherish women, because I feel like women should be treated a certain way and protected, provided for, you know what I'm saying, and penetrated, you know. I'm a simp. But last I checked, back in my heyday, I was getting more vagina than you was. I got more vagina in 4 or 5 years than you've been getting the last 10 years. I mean, it is what it is, man. I just thought I'd tell y'all a little story. Jimmy Nunez says the alpha, beta, and sigma BS is getting ridiculous. Although stuff are cult stuff. Exactly. They don't even know what an alpha is. Yeah. They don't even know what an alpha is. They don't even really know what an alpha does in their pack or in their group. They protect and provide for, right? They offer protection to the women in their clan or in their pack or in their pride. You know what I'm saying? They don't just they take care, they provide. You know what I'm saying? So they're confused, and they happen to be the best leader. They're the best leader in the group or in the pack. But they provide. They ensure the protection, and they ensure that, you know, the pack has food to eat, shelter. You know, a lot goes into being an alpha. It's not just about, you know, treating a woman like shit and all that other shit. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. Gotta get on this job site. But I'll holler at y'all later. I just thought I'd tell y'all a quick little story. And yeah, man, let's breed real men. Hey, real men need to stand up, because it's when it gets bad, man, it's gonna get bad. Dr. Ray says there's an instant video about alpha males as a TED talk. Alphas are not what most people think. Yeah, alphas are not, especially with these clowns in the menosphere think they are. Right? They think it means, oh, you just treat women like shit, you bang them, and you know, you disrespect them. That's not what alpha is, right? Especially if you want to relate it to the animal kingdom, they don't, you know what I'm saying? Yes, they act tough, they puff out their chest when it's mating time, but they don't do that to the women, right? They do that to the competing males. When they're competing males, that's what makes them alpha. Right? When competing males come at them, they handle the competing male and beat their ass or show superior strength and make the inferior male cower. That's what being an alpha is about. Now, but because you were able to do that, they see you as the best suited to lead the pack, to make sure that they're safe and all that other shit. That's what alpha is about. It's not about treating women like shit and calling men simps. Like, that's not what it's about, right? Being alpha is being, you know, you can think you're the toughest guy, But when push comes to shove, what are you doing to ensure the protection of your people? Anyway, I gotta get out of here. Much love, and I'll holler at y'all later. Let's keep marching forward toward freedom, and keep your hands off women. God damn it. Peace.